All right, let's break away from the questions and go live to UN headquarters for now, for a moment.
尊敬的潘基文秘书长，
Secretary General Ban
尊敬
Ki-moon,
的穆兰波
Executive
努卡主
Director
任，
Mulambo Nuka,
尊敬的各位同事、
dear
女士们、
colleagues,
先
ladies
生们、
and gentlemen,
朋友们，
dear friends,
在联合国成
on the
立
occasion
70
of the
周年，
70th anniversary of the
北
founding
京
of the
世界
United
妇女大
Nations
会
and the
召开
20th anniversary of the
20周年
Fourth
之际，
World Conference on Women in Beijing,
我们在这里举
it is
行
of great significance for us to convene this global leaders meeting to
为促进
reaffirm
男女
our
平等
commitment to gender equality
和妇女发
and
展
to women's development
重申
and
承
make
诺，
plans for a
共谋未
better
来
future.
意义重大。妇女是物
Women
质文
are
明和精
creators
神
of
文明的
material
创
and
造者，
spiritual wealth
是推
and
动
represents an
社会发
important
展的
force
进步的
driving
重要力
social
量。
development and progress.
没有妇女，
Without women,
就没有
there
人
would be
类。
no continuity of the
就没有
human
社会。
race or the human society.
追求男女
The
平等的
pursuit of
事
gender
业，
equality
是伟
is
大
a
的。
great cause.
纵观
A
历史，
review of history shows
没有
that
妇女
without
解放
women's
和
liberation
进
and
步，
progress,
就没有
the
人类。
liberation and progress
解放
of
和
mankind
进步。
would not be attainable.
为实现男
To
女平
achieve
等
the
的崇
lofty
高理
goal
想，
of gender equality,
人类走
we
过
have
了
gone through an
不平坦、
extraordinary and
不
uphill
平凡的历程。
journey.
从
From
200多
the
年前，
publication of the
世
Declaration of
界
the Rights of
第
the
一份
Woman over
妇女权
200
利宣
years
言
ago,
诞生，到
to
38
the
国际劳动
observance
妇
of
女
the
节的设
International
立，
Women's Day on March the 8th,
到联合国
from
成
the
立妇女
establishment of
地
the
位委
Commission
员
on the
会，
Status of Women,
到通
to
过
the
消除
adoption
对
of the
妇女一切
Convention
形
on
式
the
歧视公
elimination of
约，
all forms of discrimination against
妇
women,
女事业发展的
every
每一
step
步都
taken
推
to
动了
promote
人类文
women's
明
cause
进步。
has been a giant step forward for the progress of human
20年前，
civilization. 20 years
在
ago,
北京
the Fourth World Conference
第
on
4
Women
次
in
世
Beijing
界妇女大会
adopted the
通过了北京
Beijing
宣言
Declaration and
和行
the
动纲领，
platform for action,
达成促
laying
进男
down
女平等
strategic goals and
保障妇
policy
女权利的
frameworks
战
for
略目标
promoting gender
和
equality
政策
and
框架。
ensuring women's rights.
今天，
Today,
北京
the
世界
spirit
妇女大会所
championed
宣
by
示
the
的精
Beijing
神，
Conference
在世界
has
催生了
catalyzed
积极
positive
变化。
changes worldwide.
各国追求
The
男女平
consensus
等
among
共识，
countries on pursuing gender equality is strengthening.
推动妇女
More
发展行动
diversified
更具
actions
多
have
样
been
化，
taken to promote women's
妇女生
development,
存发展环
and the
境不
social
断优化。
context for women's life and development is
联合国妇女署
improving. In this
做
regard,
了大量工作，
UN Women should be fully
值得
recognized
充分肯
for the
定。
tremendous work it has done.
经过持续不断
Thanks
努
to
力，许
persistent
多以
efforts
前
over the
遥
years,
不可及的梦
dreams
想，
that were once beyond
已经
reach
成
have
为
come
现实。
true.
全球
143
143个国家通
countries
过立法，
have enshrined
明确
gender
规定男
equality
女
in their
平等，
laws,
妇女参与
thus
政治经济
removing
活动
legal
的，
barriers
在
to
法律
women's
上已经没有
participation
障
in
碍。
political and economic
妇女
activities,
接受教育、
and it has
婚姻
become
自
a
由、
public consensus
职业
across the
自由
world
等
for
已
women
经
to
成
have
为社
access
会
to
共识。
education and freedom of marriage and employment.
同时，
In many parts
环
of
顾
the
世
world,
界，
however,
各国各地区
disparities remain
妇女
in the
发展
level of
水
women's
平
development,
仍然不平衡，男女
and
权利
inequality
机会
still exists between men and
资源分
women
配
in rights,
仍
opportunities,
然不
and
平等。
access to resources.
社会
People
对妇
have
女
yet
潜
to
能
fully recognize women's
才干
potential,
贡
talent,
献的认
and
识
contribution.
仍然不充分。现在，
Women
全球
account for
8亿
over
贫
half
困
of the
人口中
800 million
一半以上
impoverished population
是妇女。
of the world.
每当战乱
They
和疾
tend
病来
to bear
袭，
the brunt of
妇女
wars and
往往首
epidemics,
当其冲。面对恐怖和暴
and
力
they
肆虐，
deeply suffer
妇女也
from
深受其
terrorism
害。
and violence.
时至今日，
As we speak,
针对妇女的
various
各种
forms
形
of
式歧视
discrimination against women are still taking place.
虐待甚至
Abuses
摧
and
残妇女
inhuman
的事
treatment
情
of women
时有发
continue
生。
to occur from time to time.
事实证
All
明，
this shows that
实
we
现男女
still
平
have a
等还
long
需要
way
我
to
们
go
付出
in
巨大
achieving
努力。
gender equality.
我们要不
We
懈
must
努
work
力，为妇女
tirelessly
事业
to
发
broaden
展
the
开辟
prospect
广
for
阔的道
women's
路。
cause.
女士们、先生们，
Ladies and
朋友们，
gentlemen, friends,
我们刚刚通
in the
过
post
2015
2015
年后
development
发展
agenda we
议
have
程，
just adopted,
性别视
gender
觉
perspective
已纳入了
has been
新发展
included
议程
in
的各
all
个
the
领域。
items on the agenda.
让我们发
Let
扬
us
北京
reaffirm
世
the
界妇女
spirit
大
of the
会的
Beijing
精神，
Conference with renewed
重申承诺，
commitment and pledged greater efforts to promote gender equality and women's all-round development. First, we should strive for women's development in tandem with social and economic progress. Development cannot be achieved without women, and its benefit must be shared by all people, women included. We need to come up with more well-rounded development strategies that take into account national realities, gender differences, and the special needs of women, and aim to ensure women's equal share in the fruits of development. Policy measures should be updated to stimulate women's potential and raise their participation in the process of social and economic development. China's experiences show that a higher level of social and economic participation by women helps to raise their status, and it also boosts social productivity and invigorates the economy. Second, we should protect women's rights and interests. Women's rights and interests are basic human rights. They must be protected by laws and regulations and integrated into national and social rules and norms. We must build up women's capacity of playing their parts in the society and economy, involve women in higher levels of decision-making, and support them in becoming leaders in political, business, and academic fields. We must ensure sufficient basic medical services for women and pay particular attention to the health needs of rural women, women with disabilities, migrant women, middle-aged and senior women, and women of ethnic minorities. We must ensure that school is affordable and safe for every girl, and develop vocational and lifelong education for women to help them better adapt to changes in society and the job market. Third, we should make efforts to build harmonious and inclusive societies. Men and women live in the same one world. A society with less discrimination or prejudice against women is often more inclusive and dynamic. We must eradicate all forms of violence against women, including domestic violence. We should focus on gender equality and dismiss outdated mentalities and customs inhibiting women's development. I appreciate Secretary General Ban Ki-moon's He for She initiative and hope more men will join in the action. Fourth, we should foster a global environment favorable for women's development. Women and children are the ones who suffer most when peace or tranquility is disrupted. We must stand firmly for peace, development, and win-win cooperation, cherish peace dearly, and uphold it so that every woman and child will enjoy the sunshine of happiness and tranquility. Women's organizations in different countries should strengthen interactions with each other to enhance friendship, pursue development, and make progress together. We should continue to carry out women-related international development cooperation. Developed countries should scale up financial and technological assistance to developing countries and narrow the development gap among women in different countries. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, as the Chinese people pursue a happy life, every Chinese woman has the opportunities to excel in life and make their dream come true. China will do more to enhance gender equality as its basic state policy, give play to women's important role as half of the sky, and support them in realizing their own dreams and aspirations in both career and life. The Chinese women, through their own development, will also play a greater part in global women's movement and make greater contribution to gender equality in the world. To support women's development worldwide and the work of the UN Women, China will donate $10 million to the UN Women